EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the Mid-Season Classic. Frank, this game has taken us all over the world to some absolutely beautiful spots, and this is one of the prettiest I've seen in a long time, the cliffs at Lighthouse Point along the eastern coast of Maine.
Yeah, it's always fun when we head up in the northeast area. Golf's been in this area for a long, long time. This golf course hasn't. Rather than new design by Brandt and Patel, and it's lengthy, 7,700 yards. You'll get to hit just about every club in the bag, so good test today.
Now at the par 3 14th, over another body of water. Frank, you could make some big numbers on this golf course. I would think if you walk out of here today having shot under par, you have to be really happy.
Certainly is big boy golf playing around the cliffs at Lighthouse Point, Rich. And this is another example here at this beefy par 3, 240 yards. You can see Lake Zimmer protects the front of this green and to the right, and that's obviously where they get all their irrigation water from. But it's enough green left of the flag here. That's really what you've got to be looking at, that front left section. That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
Well, this is how you build a good round, Frank. You just keep hitting greens. So they'll tap in. In for par. The round continues at Lighthouse Point, and Frank, the 15th hole is a par 4, only 387 yards. This one's sweet, Frank.
Super.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
They'll be pretty happy with that 290-yard poke off the tee. Frank, straight uphill with this approach shot, what do you have to factor in terms of club selection and setup over the ball?
Well, you're going to have to take at least an extra club to make up for that added elevation. And also it's tougher to get onto that front foot.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Do that in the hole. Tremendous shot.
A cursory look at the scorecard, Rich, and well, it looks hard at 240 yards, but that elevation is going to chew off quite a bit of yardage off the scorecard. Really, it's a good chance for a birdie on this closing stretch. V-shaped green, as long as you're on the right section of the green, could have a chance for birdie.
Well, this one is offline just a bit. Look out. You know, that one is going to end up in the rough. Frank, better than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that looked like it was headed for that thick stuff the whole way, but a little fortunate. But then I guess you're allowed that in this game.
See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie.
A little bit more hope than determination in that putt.
So a tester from 4 feet.
Now, that's a good par there, Rich.
Now at the 17th, and Frank a chance to make a birdie. Who knows, with a couple of huge pokes, you could make Eagle 3. This is a pretty stout hole at a little bit more than 600 yards.
It is, especially if that breeze comes off the water into your face. But normally you're protected here because the hills on the left will block that breeze. Bunkers all the way down the right side, you can see that. But yeah, you're right, 2 big hits, and you might just reach this par 5 and 2. Birdie, perhaps even eagle on a good day.
Well, this looks good.
Certainly is.
Frank, over the course of the last 15 years or so, there have been a number of initiatives within the game of golf just to try to grow the sport.
Yeah, we've seen the PGA Junior League, which is a series of competitions, obviously for juniors to play. But the first tee really is worldwide now, just to try and introduce players from all over the world into the game of golf. They're introduced with club professionals. They learn skills that are essential really to play the game of golf. But in 2014 was a real step, what I think, in the right direction to showcase the junior talent around the world with the drive, chip and putt, where you actually get a chance to play the drive, chip and putt final at Augusta National, the home of the Masters.
Imagine young kids, boys and girls, 8 years old, 11 years old, being able to go home and tell their friends, tell their families, hey, I have something in common with Jack Nicklaus, with Arnold Palmer, with Phil Mickelson, with Tiger Woods. I won at Augusta National Golf Club.
This is not heading in the right direction.
It looks like it's going to be in the rough. How tough is this going to be now from the rough, Frank?
Oh, it's tough to say, Rich. I mean, so much is going to depend on that lie. I'm going to need a little bit of luck.
And it makes the green in regulation. Made par yesterday, this one for birdie.
That birdie has to feel even better, Rich, with everything so tight at the top.
Right in the middle of a Donnybrook at this point.
Nice.
Looks good. Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for 11.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Well, he'll have to get up and down from the bunker to save his par. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par.
Frank looks like maybe the greatest bunker player of all time right there.
Well, he's making a name for himself today. You could certainly put him up there with Gary Players, Severiano Ballesteros. That was just a great bunker shot.
Nudge this one home, finish it up. Looks like par may not be good enough to get the job done here.
Yeah, big change in the top of the leaderboard. Get another birdie, so it pushes him back to second.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today it's live opening round coverage of the Arizona Summer Classic. Set in the Sonoran Desert and surrounded by the majestic McDowell Mountains, we're at the stadium course at TPC Scottsdale in Arizona. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo, set to bring you all the action for today's event. Frank, when you think about the TPC Scottsdale, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The golf course has been radically changed in 2014, but it still hasn't lost its luster. Really, it's just been updated like the game itself for these young, strong players of the modern era.
Take you down to hole number 11. Been a steady performance so far early in this first round, but at some point, Frank, they need to take steady to spectacular.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Rich, and really sooner rather than later, that's for sure. But, yeah, steady becomes boring if it stays on for too long. That's beyond long.
That is a sensational play right there, and you have to think that the little helping breeze gave that a nice boost.
He can't be that good.
You can see a little bit off balance on the tee, and that one is going to be in the rough. Pretty good result right there, considering...
It looked rough all the way,
Exactly.
Rich. Really did.
10-foot putt left. A birdie will send him to 1 under on the leaderboard. 12th hole now, looking at 192 yards, par 3.
Won't quite play that distance because that tee shot is considerably downhill. But you really have to be cognizant of the wind if it's coming off the left, because it easily brings that water into play down the right should that tee shot just start moving with the wind.
Frank, what's the key? You just hit one OB.
Somehow forget what's just happened. Otherwise, the same thing's liable to happen.
Third shot now after having gone OB. That's a good shot right there, about 10 feet away. He'll have a good chance. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Just a tap in to finish the hole. So with that, 1 over par. Par 5 13, Frank, what kind of scoring opportunity is this?
Well, anytime you get on a par 5, obviously birdies and eagles come to mind. 13's been changed a little bit over the years. The split fairway's gone, now it's just one fairway. Water in play, bunker on the left side, they certainly define this fairway. And they've toughened up the front and left side of this par 5 green. The longer hitter, the high ball hitter, still will get a reward at 13.
That's in the fairway. And from the fairway for his second shot here. Tugged that one a little bit offline to the left. And he'll pay a bit of a price because that rough was fairly thick. You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish. But, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
It's a good-looking putt right here. He might like it. Oh, he's going to love it.
How far was that? That was miles away.
Par 4 14th, Frank, it seems as though you'd be pretty happy with a par here.
You would, even though the putting surfaces here at TPC Scottsdale are excellent. It's going to take 2 good shots to reach this 14th hole. You can get in a little bit of trouble off the tee. That bunker on the left very much in play. The rough on the right side is no snack either, because the ball, more often than not, will finish well above the player's feet. And of course, well, when he goes after it, he is here.
Just pulverized that golf ball.
Ooh, that is long.
And now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. That ball's sitting up. You can bring it in high. You can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
Good swing, good shot yet again. Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Locked in on the read and the speed. Missed on that one, Frank.
Yeah, not a problem.
Clean this up with a tap. Stays at 1 under with that par. Great scoring opportunity here at the par 5 15th, but Frank, I'm wondering, as a player, is your mind beginning to think about what's ahead at that par 3 16th hole?
Oh, they are. This is really the finishing stretch at TPC Scottsdale, where you get all these swing holes. 15 is a swing hole. 16, 17, and 18, where so many changes in the score can actually happen. But this one here is all about finding the fairway. A good drive down here will be well rewarded because you'll have a chance to reach this par 5 and 2.
Well, those are good numbers right there. 320, 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway. And that one lands in the first cut, Frank.
Interesting choice coming ahead here. It'll be interesting to see how he reads this lie. I mean, this skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Setting himself up for a good weekend, the wily golf instructor makes his birdie. Second round coverage coming your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. So long for now. NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. It's second-round coverage of the Arizona Summer Classic. Simply put, there is nothing like it in the game of golf. It is by far the biggest spectator event in the sport. We're at TPC Scottsdale in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo. And Frank, what can you tell us about this golf course?
Well, everybody wants to know about 16, the famed par 3 here, surrounded by those skyboxes. Once again, that'll be a topic of the day. But really, this is a regular sight for the PGA Tour. So those of you that were familiar with the golf course, it's now changed. 2014, the designers Morris and Weiskopf did a massive renovation.
Well over 100,000 fans every day, better than 500,000 for the week. It's a giant party mixed in with a heck of a tournament. Frank, what's so compelling about rivalries in sports is that athletes need each other if they're going to go to great heights. Joe Frazier needed Muhammad Ali to solidify his legend. Jack Nicklaus probably needed Arnold Palmer to go to a place that he had not been. And I think that's true across the board as we look at rivalries in sports.
I think it defines careers, Rich. It's not until those players retire that they realized how important it was to have that foe. You know, so often we're living in the present, like we are now with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. And it's not for years to come that we'll realize the sport wouldn't have been the same with one without the other. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. This requires a lot of speed through the ball. Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Settles in over the putt. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Just a couple of feet. And he makes it for a bogey here. Frank, this is a demanding driving hole, the par 4 fifth.
Another hole that bends gently to the left. There used to be two bunkers down the right side. It's now one, and it's in the perfect position to make you think about your tee shot. Really, you have to be left of that. The new tees added a little bit of yardage to it. The green still looks the same as what it once was, tilts slightly from left to right. But you can see why a draw is the preferred shot. at TPC Scottsdale.
That appeared to be a good strike right there, Frank.
Oh, good. It's just towering. Look at that hanging in the sky.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Second shot, good look at the green. This is going to be a tough day on the links. I mean, even the seagulls are walking to work. This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Frank, how did he do there?
Well, he's inside 30 feet, but 27 feet, it's not exactly what you'd call close.
Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. That may have been a bit too much to ask for there, that distance putt, Frank.
Yeah, it's fine to be greedy before you hit the putt, but after you've hit it, 2 from that distance is fine.
Nudge this one home, finish it up. Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Now to the par 4 6th. Decision time, Frank. Driver, or do you go with 3-wood?
A lot of that's going to depend on if there's any breeze. If the breeze is at your back, you can drive it all the way down the right side and take those 2 bunkers down the right completely out of play. This hole's been stiffened up, though. The length hasn't increased, but that bunkering in that choke point. So, the strategy. Do you have the length to get past them? Or, if you have to lay up, it's going to leave a much longer second shot.
Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
Good shot right there. Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
You've got to be kidding me. That was right on the edge.
I tell you, he wants a do-over there.
this would give him the par. Those keep the round going, those par putts. On to the par 3 7th, 215 yards from that back tee box, Frank.
This hole hasn't really changed, still has that V-shaped green where it's very narrow in the front. A high-flying shot in here that carries that front edge, and you'll find the further and further you go back there, the more receptive and that green starts to widen.
He'll be pretty happy with that one, about 20 feet away in a good spot. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. Once considered the best PGA teaching pro in the country, our featured golfer makes birdie and now sits comfortably inside the cut line. Well, that's the way you draw it up here at the 8th. You want to get it out there. He's done that, and he's kept it in the fairway. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Just a bit left of the hole location.
Should still be okay.
Birdie try up next. So coming off the birdie on the previous hole, a chance now for yet another one.
And momentum all in his favor.
Frank, the good players continue to play good golf, even if they're not winning or in the top 5.
Yeah, that position's starting to look a little brighter than what it was at the beginning of the day. Now in the top 25.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the Arizona Summer Classic. Now to the second par 3 on the front 9. This is the 7th hole.
Quite a stiff par 3 because of the narrowness in the front, really favouring a higher shot that's going to land softly, and therefore you can open up that green, because the further back you go, the wider it gets.
Frank, even at major championships, a good crowd on a single day might be 25 to 30,000. Consider this for just a moment. At the TPC Scottsdale in 2013, round number 3 on Saturday, almost 180,000 fans jammed into that ballpark.
It's hard to imagine that's twice the gate of the Super Bowl on a golf course. Now, obviously, some of it's hidden because of the size of the acreage, but golf just doesn't get that type of crowds anywhere else in the world. But it works at TPC Scottsdale. They have a crowd that keeps going back. They have the Bird's Nest, for example, that goes there. The parties that ring around there. It's an atmosphere that golf never gets anywhere else, but it really works there. The players feel it too. They breathe it. And this is 1 week of the year, just 1 week, where they do feel like superstars.
It's a mix of soft spikes and stiletto heels. There's nothing quite like the TPC Scottsdale. From about 8 feet. That is a solid par putt right there. This is a good hole, Frank, the par 4 8th.
Yet another dogleg left, Rich, on the front side. And it's a sharper dogleg now because they've put in 2 bunkers down the left side. It used to be a bailout area for the players in the past. You can't do that anymore. And I doubt anybody can fly it over that left one. It's nearly 330 yards to carry that in the air. Those 2 bunkers have forced the players to go out to the right, making that second shot a little bit longer now.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Don't leave it short. Wow. Par attempt here. Good putt. Rounding out the front 9 with a par 4 of 453 yards from the back tee. Looks to be straight away here, Frank. Anything to be cautious about on this tee shot?
Well, that bunker, there used to be two bunkers down the right side. There is now one, and it also pinches into the fairway, which almost makes this hole look like a faint dogleg right. But really, the best line is still down the left side, so it still actually suits a draw off the tee. Green is slightly elevated and not very deep too, so judging that second shot, getting the right club is essential here at 9.
Wow, Frank, look at that one run out. Just blistered that tee shot.
Well, that has to be 325 if it's an inch.
130 yards out. Frank, you played in conditions all over the world. Here come the winds now. What's the mindset?
Well, this is really what separates the men from the boys. This is where you've got to tell yourself, and it's an advantage to you. Obviously, the scores will go up a little bit, given the conditions. But once again, this is going to suit the stronger player today.
You like the old phrase, swing easy when it's breezy?
Definitely when you're hitting it into a head breeze. But if down breeze, tee it up a little bit, try and ride that wind some more.
Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. Birdie here yesterday, trying to do it again today. Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number one, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Getting set now to start one of the most exciting back nines in all of golf on the PC Scottsdale, beginning with the 10th.
If you stand on this green, Rich, and look backwards, you realize how severe this dogleg is. But from the tee side, it's a sharp dogleg to the right. It's actually a layup down the left side, and then a second shot around the 150, 160 yard mark in.
Now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. That ball's sitting up. You can bring it in high. You can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
Chance to set himself up for a good scoring opportunity with his second shot here. Good swing, good shot yet again. Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Now this for birdie, came away with par in the previous round. Frank, where has that been?
Yeah, thank God for small mercies.
On to the par 4 11th hole. Frank, what's the best play here?
No bunkers really here to worry about, Rich, so you have to pick something in the distance as a good line. Something a little bit away from the water that protects the left side of this fairway. And it's adjacent to the 15th hole, the other par 5 coming home. So a good drive, perhaps with a little bit of cut off the tee. And that should shape up nicely for this long par 4.
Thank goodness, Frank, back on dry land here.
As long as this one avoids it.
So hit the previous shot in the water, took a drop, this now the third shot. Frank, this is one you don't practice, but sometimes you have to do it. Time for the drop.
Yeah, it should be the easiest shot in golf. You've just paid for it.
cannot hide the flagstick from that man inside of 5 feet. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Solid par. 3 rounds in the books. Outside the top 10, going to the final 18. Frank, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you're going to have to approach the final round in a couple of different phases. Try and be aggressive early on. If you do get a few birdies in the bank, you really still can fancy yourself with a chance to win. It'll all depend on that start tomorrow.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long of the Arizona Summer Classic. Par 4 14th, and Frank, this hole packs a little punch, doesn't it?
Yeah, the addition of just a little bit more yardage, plus the bunker on the left has been pushed out into the fairway. It actually makes the whole play a little bit longer than its 490 yards. Second shot is a little bit uphill. No longer is there a bunker on the right side. That side of the green is actually open. You don't really want to be trying to miss that green on the right. Should you decide to go at the flag, well, you're going to have to carry that front bunker.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. So this is where club selection becomes much more important. Uphill, make sure you have enough stick, and then swing away. Frank, this is just a pleasure to watch. A player hitting on all cylinders at the top of his game.
Notice it's just flowing too. There's not a lot of deep analysis going through his mind. Just one step in front of the other. If your swing's there, you don't have to find it. If your putting stroke's there, you don't have to find it. Just let it happen. This looks like it's heading for the bunker.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
Well, bunker play is really about technique and feel. The two greatest ever are probably Gary Player and Seve Ballesteros. Seve actually was so good, he was so skilled, that he could open up a 3-iron, that's right, a 3-iron, on a short bunker shot from a green side bunker and splash it to a couple of feet as if he had just used a 60-degree sand wedge. Amazing. Ooh, what a shot right there. Beautifully done. At the 14th now, it's a par 4.
And a dogleg left once again. The bunker on the left side's been pushed out to the fairway to really make you think whether or not you can carry that. It's a lengthy second shot because it's going to play a little bit uphill, and this green is well protected on the left side with the two bunkers.
Frank, it makes the game easy when you play it from the fairway.
Especially when you play it from a lie like that. Second shot.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
That was a big, bold strike, and now a chance for a big, bold move. Putt for eagle coming up. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie.
A few more birdies like that, Rich, you never know, just might sneak place on the podium.
In the top 10 right now. Frank, the one moment that sort of made the 16th hole what it is today would have to be Tiger's ace in 1997 here at the TPC Scottsdale when it was raining plastic cups.
It was also his reaction too, and that ushered in the Tiger Woods era that we became associated with, which is the fist pumping, the rowdy spectators, and he was one of the few players that bridged the gap between spectator and golf course. And it still goes on till today. And I think Rory Mcllroy probably is the only other player that starts to broach that type of inside and outside atmosphere with golf.
Still to this day, it's the loudest single moment that I can ever remember hearing on a golf course. Really hitting on all cylinders now. 9 under for the tournament. Frank, when you get to the 17th hole, we always recall maybe the single most bizarre shot in the history of golf.
Yeah, everybody talks about maybe a hole-in-one at 16, but really 17. And the player was Andrew McGee. It was a good tee shot, don't get me wrong. But Rich, it needed an assist.
Well, the assist came from Tom Byram, whose brother Kurt is a commentator for the Golf Channel. Tom Byram was just minding his own business, standing on the green, sort of leaning on his putter, and you know what happened.
Yeah, the ball hit Tom Byram's putter and then careened into the hole. So, 17. Made famous, a little bit of history with a couple of names to drag up from the past.
Second shot, good look at the green. Oh, looked like he caught a flyer right there, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he caught, but this is way too much.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and Now he'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here. Great shot out of the rough. He avoided all the troubles just to get that on the green.
That was not an easy shot. He'll settle. 8-foot putt here. And with that par, moving into the top 5 on the leaderboard.
Nice handful on the top of the leaderboard. Rich, 18 was always considered a long finishing hole.
Not for J.B. Holmes.
Yeah, the water was always in play. And then the day he took it over the left side and carried everything and went on to win, that completely changed the way this golf course played ever since that day.
And it resulted in some of the changes we're seeing now.
Yeah, evidence, the new bunkering down the left side. But it showed us all how much and how strong these guys are, how much they've improved over the years. Hazard.
Maybe wet. Frank, sadly, I've been there too often in the water. You get down on yourself. What's the right way to approach this mentally?
Well, you've almost got to take a step backwards, Rich. This can add up so quickly. So give yourself a little pat on the back, say it's fine. I mean, you're human. You're allowed to hit bad shots. But the big thing now is to avoid 2 in a row.
So this will be the 3rd shot after taking the drop with the ball going in the water. Frank, just been a really sloppy hole to this point.
Just a barrage of mistakes, really. And, well, the best he can do, really, with a good one, is to get away with a bogey, and that's what he's got to think of.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Frank, just a shade outside 15 feet.
Well, if you're going to be like that, Rich, it's 16 feet to be exact.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. So close. How does that not go in? So just a formality here. Take no pleasure in saying it, but it's a fact. It's a double bogey. Well, Frank, this day had a little bit of everything. I mean, you always catch your breath after a round at TPC Scottsdale because it's generally just so exciting, and today was no exception.
Yeah, the atmosphere here is unlike any other TPC golf course. The fact that you know you're playing a golf course where the PGA Tour visits every year is one thing, but the condition of the golf course is just absolutely amazing. They're playing in thinner air. The golf course, even with its changes, is still such a great test. Fun place to play.
Well said, Frank. For my partner, Frank Nobilo, and all of us here at EA Sports, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now from TPC Scottsdale.